The key to a really good pizza dough is time, not the herb. And we're gonna try and get as much time into this dough as possible. Now I'm saying not the herb, not the herb, not the herb. I can't do it now. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to level up your Friday pizza night with a homemade dough that is super easy but out of this world. The key to a really good pizza dough is time. And we're gonna try and get as much time into this dough without any of the hassle. And to do that, we're gonna make a super speedy sort of starter that we're gonna let ferment throughout the day. So you could do this the night before, or I'm up early this morning and I'm gonna do this before I do my day of work, and then I'll have a pizza party tonight. So you're gonna start with 400 grams of plain flour, a teaspoon of sugar, and a teaspoon or 4 grams of instant dry yeast. And then we'll just give that a wee little mix with a fork. And then I'm gonna add in 400 grams of warm water, so just above room temperature. And then just mix that together with your fork. You just want to mix it until all the flour is incorporated. It should be really nice and sticky. Then we're going to cover this with some Glad wrap. Make sure it's nice and tight. We don't want any air coming in. Then you're going to pop this somewhere warm for about 5 hours, or if you're off to work now, leave it for the whole day and we'll see you later. It has been 5 hours and our yeasty mixture is lovely and bubbly. The longer you can leave this, the better. So if you leave this overnight, it's gonna be super bubbly, which is great. Let's open it up and give it a little squiggle about. Oh yeah, it is so bubbly. I'm just gonna scrape it down and kind of deflate it with my spatula. It is so lovely and elastic, and the gluten has developed in here so nicely. It's the best thing ever. Now we're gonna add in 2 teaspoons, that would be so salty, of salt. And I've got another 250 grams of plain flour. And I'm just gonna try and combine it a bit with my spatula, and then when it gets a bit hard, we're gonna knead our dough. I think it's time to get our hands in. So I'm just gonna kind of fold in, or kind of press in some of that dry flour, because you don't wanna get your fingers all in that sticky bit, otherwise it's gonna stick all to your hands. Now I like to knead my dough on my surface, so I'm just gonna tip all of this onto my bench. You can totally just leave it in the bowl. And we're gonna knead this for about 10 to 15 minutes until it's lovely and smooth. It's gonna go from this sticky, floury mess to a beautifully smooth dough. Kneading dough is so fun and therapeutic to me. It's just so lovely how it goes from being sticky and kind of wrinkly, and then it gets beautifully soft, and I know it's gonna turn into my favorite food, pizza. Right, I've been kneading for about 10 minutes. My dough is looking super lovely and smooth. It feels delightful. Now we're gonna add some good quality olive oil, about 2 tablespoons. I'm just gonna eyeball it on top. And the purpose of the oil is it's gonna help us give a really nice crispy base. Then we're gonna knead that in. It will be a bit slimy to start with, but just stick at it. Right, my olive oil is lovely and kneaded in. Do we say kneaded? Ned. I'm gonna shape it back into a little ball, and I'm gonna pop this back into my bowl. Don't worry if there's a little excess flour in there. And then give it a tiny coating of extra oil. You can just kind of toss it in that, just to give it a nice coating on the outside. Little tiny rub around the edges. Then we're gonna cover this bowl in Glad wrap again and let it prove for another 30 minutes to an hour. If you're running really short on time, you can skip this prove. Just make sure you give it a really good prove once you've portioned it. But this is gonna go back into my lovely warm place and we'll see you in about 45 minutes. Our dough has had another 45 minutes to rise. It's looking lovely and risen again, and we've already got about 6 hours of rising time into this dough without like any major steps, which is great. Now, let's get this beautiful dough onto the bench. So good, it just looks so soft. Then I'm gonna reshape it back into a ball just by kind of like folding over the edges and tucking them under. It's actually so beautiful and soft. It's gonna be amazing. Now I'm gonna make 4 pizzas out of this. So we're gonna cut it into 4 portions. Now each of my little bits of dough, we're gonna gently fold or tuck into a little ball. And you can kind of rub them in your hands like this, or rub them on the bench as well. That's really helpful. And I haven't used any flour at this point. You shouldn't need any because we've got the oil in our dough too. It shouldn't stick to your hands or to the bench, but if it does, use a little bit of extra oil instead of flour. These are just the best little bundles of joy. I absolutely love pizza dough. Now I'm gonna let these prove again on my surface. I'm just gonna cover them up with the bit of Glad wrap I had before, and that's gonna stop them drying out. I wanna leave them for about 30 minutes. It's really warm in my house, so 30 minutes should be good. But if it's quite cold in your house, you might let them prove for up to an hour. And this is a really great time to get your ingredients ready, your toppings ready, get your oven preheated, ideally to the hottest temperature it can go to. Mine goes to about 220, but if yours goes up to 250, whack it right up there. And then we'll be back to stretch these, cook them, and eat them. Oh yeah, look at these. They've puffed up. In just 30 minutes, they've puffed up so much. They look beautiful. Now it's time to stretch them. We are not using a rolling pin over here. We want to keep all that lovely air in our crust, so we're going to do it by hand. And I'm going to show you how. So I'm going to really gently lift up my little dough, and I've got a little pile of flour here, and I'm just gonna plop my dough into the flour and completely coat it in flour. Okay, we'll just pop all that flour to the side. Then I'm gonna use my fingers to press almost a crust. So we're gonna start by pressing out a crust into the middle. So once you've kind of pressed the direction of your crust, you're gonna lift it up. We're gonna kind of hold it between our fingers. You're gonna keep the crust on this side and use your thumbs and forefinger to kind of spin it round and let the dough hang between your fingers. And the hanging is what stretches out our dough. And you can pop it down every so often. Give it another little shimmy. Because we've let that gluten develop, it should stay really lovely and soft. Then we're gonna flip it over the back of our hand. So underneath my hands are like this, and I'm gonna kind of shimmy it over my knuckles, which is gonna help it stretch out a bit more. And you wanna kind of find the thick parts and then gently let those parts hang. Pop it down to check. Oh, it's looking good. Look at the bubbles we're getting here. Okay, last little bit. And you can really stretch your dough out as big or as little as you like. I'm gonna go medium sized. Now, I'm cooking mine on a pizza stone today, so we're gonna build it on the bench here. If you don't have a pizza stone, you can replicate it with a tray. So keep a tray in the oven, keep it nice and hot, and when you go to put your pizza on, just really quickly drag the pizza onto the tray and whack it back in the oven. I'm gonna use a little bit of Semolina flour underneath my dough to stop it sticking. This also helps it stay nice and crunchy, but you could just use regular flour here. So a little bit of Semolina flour. Then I've got some tomato sauce, which is literally just a can of whole tomatoes that I squeezed with some salt. Oh yeah, it smells so good. some Parmesan. We're gonna do a layer of Parmesan on the bottom. We're keeping it classic with the margarita. Then some fresh mozzarella. And we're just gonna tear some strips on and around the place. And I'm gonna give it a tiny drizzle of olive oil just around the crust. Now it's time to go in the oven. So I've got my pizza paddle. Again, if you don't have a paddle, just whack it straight on a tray. I'm gonna do a little dusting of semolina flour in here too. We're gonna drag it on, reshape it, then whack it in the oven. Look at this. It smells amazing. It's got a beautiful crust and crunchy bottom. Let's cut some slices. Oh, and that crunch. Oh yeah. Right, let's give it another little coating of Parmesan, because who doesn't love some salty Parmesan? And of course, some fresh basil, which I'm just gonna rip some bits. Oh, this smells and looks amazing. It is finally time to eat it, and I am so excited. Look at that, and look at the air bubbles that we've managed to get in that crust. It's gonna be amazing. Are you ready? Pizza is actually the best food in the whole world. Such simple ingredients, really so easy, so worth the extra time that we put in to let this dough rise. I know you might have to get up a little bit early and mix it together in the morning, but absolutely it's worth it. You're gonna have the best pizza party ever. I hope you have a great week, a great pizza party, and we'll see you next time. It's so good.
Al suo posto c'è invece un suono che viene da lontano.
I love pizza.